Welcome to our COGNIZANT podcast. This podcast is for educational purpose only, and our podcast is about general news in every week and also COVID-19. Hope you all enjoy our content. Okay, let's talk about COVID-19 this week. How is the situation, Mr. Wang?
Okay, Rashid. For this week, the numbers of infected people are still high, and the country with highest numbers of infected people today is Brazil.
Oh, wow, that's a sad news. How many people are infected daily? Like maybe top three countries.
Okay, the number of infected people in Brazil are 90 million people in total. The second is India, 30 million people, and the third is Indonesia, 2.4 million people.
How about the situation in Thailand?
Oh, for Thailand, in this week, the number of infected people has skyrocketed, starting from Sunday, July 4th, with a number of 5,916 people. After that day, the number of infected people began to increase steadily. Today, the 10th of July, the number of infected people in Thailand are 9,326. The average number of infected people in this week per day is 7,097. It is expected that the trend will continue to rise next week.
So, do you know how did the government of Thailand respond to the COVID-19 pandemic?
Yes, I know. The responses and movement from the government to current situation are announcing a 14-day lockdown in Bangkok and nearby provinces, starting 12th of July. So the Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha has announced that he will not receive salary for 3 months in order to help people out. From this announcement, many people felt dissatisfied with the work of the government, and there's opinions that the plan to deal with coronavirus have failed and are incapable of dealing with the crisis. The government has organized a project for the countermeasure in order to help the livelihood of the people, which we have to continue to monitor whether the work of the government in this time will be effective and able to cope with the crisis of the COVID-19 outbreak or not.
Thank you for the valuable information, Mr. Wang. And that's a wrap for the COVID-19 weekly news for this week. Now, let's talk about fire at the factory in Soy King Keo 21. What do you know about the situation, Mr. Trai?
Okay, all I know is a huge explosion and fire destroyed a factory producing plastic foam and plastic pellets and caused extensive damage to surrounding communities in Bang Pli district early Monday morning. 21 people were confirmed injured, Rescue Foundations reported. The fire also was initially believed brought under control around dawn, but black smoke continued to spread into the sky late in the morning.
Interesting. What about you, Mr. Jarut?
Okay, so all I know is the Disaster Prevention and Mitigation Department and Bangpek District Office ordered the urgent evacuation of all people within 5 kilometers radius. There were worries there could be more explosions as the core fire was moving towards another area used to store chemicals. There are 5 or 6 warehouses in the factory compound where 50 tons of chemicals were reported to be stored. The explosion occurred around 2:5 a.m. in Mingdi Chemical Factory in Soy King Kea 21. It was followed by a massive fire that devoured the entire factory and caused extensive damage to buildings and houses within 1 kilometer radius.
Do you guys know how the government handled it?
Yeah, I know. I think more than 35 engines from the Russia Teva Tambon administration, organization, and other local administrations will rush to the scene like the fire stations. They have a job to do this. And helicopters were sent to dump water on the fire. As the smoke continued to spread from the burning factory, the smoke was clearly seen in Bangkok and was also visible from Suvarnabhumi Airport. But fires were not affected. That's a good thing.
How bad was the situation exactly? Do you know?
For me, I think it's very bad. For I mean, in the perimeter near the factory, The explosion was felt as far as 5 kilometers from the factory site. Owners of houses damaged by the explosion and fire were advised to register a complaint with police. Drivers were advised to avoid roads in Rashatewa while Churaratnai hospital postponed all patients' appointments. People scheduled for vaccinations on Monday should come on Tuesday instead, the hospital said.
And do you know the cause of the situation or no?
Yes, I know it. The cause of the explosion was still unknown.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Do you know
Yes,
anything about the factories?
yes, a little bit. It's an Taiwanese-based Mingti Chemical Company set up the factory in 1998. It can produce up to 30,000 tons of plastic foam and pellets a year. This factory is a hub to distribute their products to the domestic markets and exports to nearby countries.
You know what? Let me ask you guys something. What happened after the firefighters have arrived? Any idea, right?
I have no idea. Sorry.
Or maybe it's a route?
Okay, from where I have researched, the fire had raged through a plastic factory in Bang Phai district since early Monday has been brought under control, but unexpected flare-ups continued through Tuesday morning. Firefighters continue to spray water on the smoking ruins of Taiwanese-owned Mingdi Chemical Company foam and plastic pellets factory. Rescuer says on Tuesday the fire has declared under control around 5 a.m., more than 24 hours after a huge explosion started at the base at factory in Soiกิ่งแก้ว 21. Flames continue to erupt periodically.
How about the consequences of the situation that happens?
The inferno destroyed the factories. One firefighter was caught in search of flames from a store of chemicals and killed another 12 volunteer firefighters and 33 other people were injured. The explosion and fire also damaged 73 houses and 15 cars in surrounding community. Do you have anything to say, Dry?
Yes, I have something to tell you. About 1,900 residents of houses within a 5-kilometer radius were evacuated on Monday to 8 temporary shelters. They were warned the smoke and fumes were toxic, and Tuesday morning, officials said it was still not safe for them to return home. Well, the government told reporters the fire was under control after specialist technicians from the PTT or PLC facility in Sriracha, Chonburi were able to close the valves of 3 remaining tanks of chemicals in the factory complex. However, about half an hour after midnight, the simmering fire erupted again and firemen resumed to spray water on the burning wreckage. That's all.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, that wraps it up for this week. See you guys next week.